Okay, guys, I'm gonna go and change the URL because for whatever reason, when I tried to go live through my channel, it didn't let me go live with the actual event. So I'm going live now, and I'm gonna try to get you guys the correct link because this kind of sucks. So I'm sorry if you guys are going into the other chat. I'm getting this up as soon as possible. Getting to my channel. I'm still figuring out live stuff. Cause live. Yeah, that weird echo thing that happens is never fun. So let's go back to the happy world of Facebook and correct the link. Edit. I hate doing this while you guys are watching because it just seems crazy. So we're going to copy that. We're going to delete that. We're going to do this. And we're going to send. Okay. New link all. Come on over. And I believe someone was actually trying to get a hold of me elsewhere. So we're going to check for that because right now it's just me and the channel, which makes it kind of silly. No one can join me. Okay, I have no idea who this is about. Okay, so right now it is still just me. I don't know who, etc. wants to join, but we're going to give a couple moments to make sure that people who do want to join. And I see somebody has joined me. If you are here, come say hi. Let me, top chat is nothing. So let's go live chat. There we go. So today's topic, I will give it another minute. Nope, see, I lost whoever that was. So I have no idea. No clue. Well, this could be a very, very, very short live chat. Topic today is Universal versus Disney and planning. How you go ahead making your plans, what the differences are between the two programs, what I have found works or doesn't work for me. There we go. So I'm getting everything else set back up because, well, that's the way it all works. So, who is here with me? Is this Mr. Drew or is this somebody else? Hello, Mr. Drew. So, again, may just be you and me. People do know it's available if they want to come and watch it now or come in later. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that other window, and I want to give some people another chance. I had the entire live thing set up to click and go live, went to click and go live, and it disappeared. Hey, we got somebody else here. Hello, other person. Say hi. So I realized I had that screwed up link and just updated it. So I want to give people a couple minutes to kind of get in here. I don't want to make them crazy. If you are watching and new and you don't know how to chat, if you look off to the left side of your screen, you're going to see a little like box where you see where PTP grad and Drew Thomason have already said some stuff. Oh, or they left. Who knows? But we're going to talk tonight about Universal versus Disney planning organization. So there are a number of different items that are important when you start talking about this. Getting your tickets, if you're going to stay on property, getting your hotel, Fast Pass versus the Express Pass that Universal does, which is your line cutting option, dining reservations, tours, if you want to do any kind of tours, and transportation, the Magical Express versus the Universal Super Shuttle, if you're planning an event with them. I'm sorry the lighting is a little darker, excuse me. Excuse me, since the last time. Thank you. I did update it, so I'm hoping people will change it and come back. Hello, new person who has come in. Go ahead and chat in the chat window to say hi, so I know who's here. So we are again talking about Universal and pre-planning. So if you guys have questions during this, if there's thoughts or things that you want to kind of throw out there for me to respond to or to address, please go ahead and let me know. Ignore all the scary faces behind me. I make masks, so most of those are my creations. There are some from Epcot over here and from some other designers and mask makers over the years. But this is going to be more comfortable on my bottom than that's where I was sitting last week. So, Universal. When I make my plans, I start close to a year out with whomever I'm going. And I will have them look at both Disney's site and Universal's site and give me your list of what must you do, what would you really like to try to do, and what no way in hell will you do. And I use that to create kind of a chart, and which continues to update and change. The earlier in the process you are, the more the Disney stuff is going to change. The later on you go, the Universal stuff's going to adjust. And a lot of that has to do with the timelines for tickets. So at Disney, you make your reservations. Hotel. If you're staying on property, at least for Disney, I recommend that you go through an agent if you can. I did, and I may pick up my cell phone, Drew, to show the amazing spreadsheet. I did put it in the vlog as well, the vlog we did of our trip. But I will give you a sample of that because it's a little hard for me to turn the laptop around and show you that, but I will pull that up on my cell phone. But what I do with those, so a hotel. So if you're staying on property, I absolutely recommend going through a travel agent if you're going through Disney, simply because they can keep an eye out. You can book a year in advance or more, start slowly paying off your room because it just has to be paid. I believe it is 2 months in advance that it has to be paid off, but you can slowly pay it off so you're not out of pocket so much all at once. For Universal, I have not done it with them yet. Now, I'm an annual pass holder with Universal right now. I'm looking at doing that with Disney. We'll see what happens with all of that, but that's down the line. So hotels, if there's a specific time you want, book it early, and then you can look at rebooking and rebooking till you find that right sweet spot for you. Otherwise, though, you're guaranteed to have your spot where you want it. A lot of times I actually stay off property, and I stay during Christmas, so I book that timeshare as fast as I can, because that's the week that everybody's in the area and you don't want to lose that. Hello, whoever you are, new person, you are welcome to say hi in the chat window. And then we can, if you have questions, throw them out at me while I'm rambling about all this stuff. This way I'm addressing the things you really want to know about. The next big thing I'm going to go sort of timeline of what you have to do. So the next thing that you need to do is your dining reservations for Disney. For Universal, 30 days out, with the exception of open table. And actually you can go more than 60 days, 180 days out for things like Disney Springs restaurants that are on open table. So if you make a reservation on open table, it's not going to tie into your My Disney Experience app or any of the other things. You have to have that as its own separate reservation. And it's still a valid way to do it. But if you really want to see everything in that app and everything on that screen for you, it's a lot easier if you're going to go and put it all on, do the 188 days out. 7 a.m., 180 days before your trip, 7 a.m., be there for certain restaurants. There are ones that will disappear. Some I agree with, some I don't agree with. Be Our Guest, Cinderella's Royal Table. A lot of the character meet and greet, more exceptional events, those become harder to get. And the longer you wait, the harder they are to get. So if there's something that you want to have, do it right then. Get in there as soon as you can. One little thing, just as a side note, when you're making your reservations and you're looking to book, the tea room does not usually show up as a meal. You actually have to kind of type in the description of the tea, like tea, and it'll bring up the restaurants. And then rather than putting in a time saying, on June 1st, I want to go to a restaurant at 12 o'clock, and then it'll tell you everything that's free. It will not list the tea room. So if you do decide you want to go to the Grand Floridian and have an afternoon tea with your little tea cozy on your tea and your finger sandwiches and your clotted cream or apricot jam, or, oh my God, it's yummy. I've done it a few times. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it. Then you do want to try to kind of book those in advance because the times are limited. Universal, I'll tentatively set in, these are the kind of the places we want to go. If it's something that's available on City Walk through Open Table, which would be Vivo, which even isn't anymore, and I think Cowfish might have done it for a while, but again, very limited. 30 days, and it's not. They're making it more resort-like as time goes by, but it's less of a resort experience where people are insanely trying to get those character breakfasts or lunches or dinners. So you can be more laid back. You can be more relaxed. It will show up if you type, like, it gives you like search criteria, Drew. And if you type in tea, it will bring up that it shows up as the tea room. But if you type in at 2 o'clock, I want to go somewhere to eat, it doesn't list it. It never pulls it up in the meals, because if you're saying lunch or something, it just doesn't give it in the search options. So you do specifically have to go looking for that tea. And you can. It's, it's great, but just to be aware of that. Yeah. Hold on a second. Snack shop. Which snack shop are you thinking of? I am at this moment. Look, it has a little connector thingy, so my phone is on it. I am going to pull up, since he has mentioned it, the evil, wonderful, terrifies people when they don't understand what's about to happen spreadsheet. And I don't think I took this year's off. No, I did not. Yeah, it's the same. Grand Floridian Garden Tea Room. So let me kind of shrink this. So I'm going to show, whoa, that didn't stay up well. So this, if you can see it, wow, that's just, the light is totally screwy when I do that. This is the schedule. Now, if you look at let me do it this way now. So if you look at, sorry, this gets things, that very top section there, and I know it's kind of backwards because of the way I'm doing the camera on this, that's just lunches, dinners, flights in and out, and if we had fast passes. This middle section, which Drew actually expanded to a lot longer because he wanted exact hour to exact hour. That gives you an idea of what we're doing from hour to hour in a perfect world. And then at the very bottom, you'll see, I shouldn't be doing that with that finger. In the very bottom down there, you'll see just the hours in the parks. And this will continue to update and change and change and change as we go through the process. It is not set in stone. Hello, Susan. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, sorry about that link. I had it all set to go, and then it just got weird on me. So we are talking about the differences in booking dining for the two different parks. Universal, you can't make the reservations, but you also generally don't need to. Their quick services, which includes the Harry Potter restaurants, is walk in and stand in line. I will book reservations for Mythos. I've booked reservations for Lombard's, which is in Universal Studios versus Islands of Adventure. But every other time I've gone, Cafisco, we just walk in and you sit at the bar and you get stuff. It's not that big a deal. It is, and Toothsome, they will not take any reservations. Vivo, Cowfish, I made reservations so the 30 days out. Toothsome, the chocolate place, is too popular, so they won't let you make reservations. However, trick, don't make a reservation at all. Get there around 5:30. Walk over to the bar, because if you're of age, you can sit at the bar. Immediate seating, full menu. Generally, the people there are kind of amusing and nice, and I highly recommend that. I have not sat at the bar. Chris Hayes is referring to Disney right now, too. I have no idea who Chris Hayes is, but you can update me on that. And I'm scanning through to make sure. Okay. Cowfish, there's a bar to sit out there, and I believe Vivo has a tiny bar. And those generally you can walk up. I always go, again, during Christmas, which is the crazy time of year. So if I'm able to do a walk up at Toothsome at that point, you will definitely be able to do that. I have no idea who our fourth person is. If you are around and would like to say hi, please say hi. So that's the big deal with differences between the two. Universal ends up in an overall picture just being more laid back because they don't take the reservations. They function a little more like Disneyland functions, where they function more like a local park. It's just the way they've seen. Susan, you asked if you find Universal as crowded as Disney. And truthfully, I used to not. I do now. Most of that's because of Harry Potter. Now, there are certain other rides that will get long lines, that will get crazy. It used to be that on the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th, if you went to Universal, especially till noon, you could start walking on a lot of stuff, even some of the big stuff. This year, we went to Universal on the 27th, which is usually that transfer over time for people taking vacations, and got in and did the Fast and Furious because there was no line, went through that, and then went and looked at Gringotts before we took the train across to the other side because it was a 3-hour wait at 9 a.m. and the park had opened at 8. Yeah, crazy. But when you went to the other park, when you went to the Forbidden Journey, which is the older of the two Universal rides, that one was fine. You could jump right in. It was, an hour. It was like less than an hour. And we do single rider. And Gringotts does single rider. Forbidden Journey does single rider. You'll often need to start in the main line, and then they peel you off as you get closer, and you cut like a chunk out of the end of the ride time. Yeah. This is Sammy, for those of you who have not met her before. She will sit and join us and have a lovely time with us. So I mean, Universal, it depends on the park. It depends on the day. If you compared, like the comic book area in Universal Islands of Adventure to Disney's Magic Kingdom on Christmas, oh no, Disney's Magic Kingdom would be far, far worse because that's where everyone's going. I mean, truthfully, Christmas Day at Animal Kingdom used to be empty. And, Pandora and all that fun stuff has just made it crazy. Would you also think that the insane crowds at Disney are due to Avatar and Toy Story and partially due to Universal taking some of the overflow? No, because there's something about, because Magic Kingdom is not Avatar or Toy Story Land. I think those parks are starting to pick up their activity, but Magic Kingdom Christmas Day is because it's the classic, because it's the traditional, because it's magic, that I think it does that. In fact, didn't Magic Kingdom close early one day? Universal. Thank you. Universal, I mean, we usually have stuck with our days. Universal doesn't become the plan B necessarily, but another Disney park will be the plan B. I've had a time where Magic Kingdom has been closed when we thought we were going there, and then instead we had to turn around and go to Epcot. Darn. And I think that might have been with you, Drew, to the first trip. And that's fine. It's now we usually have far more often closed parks. And Disney has had fewer of those. I will say that. I do think in that sense, they have started taking over some of that crowd, some of that crazy. Okay, so fast passes versus express passes. So 188 days out at Disney, you make your reservations. Your next marker is 60 days out. And that's when you make all of your fast passes if you're staying on property. 30 days out if you're making your fast passes and you're not staying on property. You don't make fast passes at Universal. They have something called an express pass, and they sell a certain number of them. Now, if you're staying in one of their hotels, you get the express pass if you're at the 3 really expensive ones. And then at Cabana Bay and Aventura, you don't get the express pass, but you get some other benefits, like you get the 1 hour early into the park and stuff like that. 5-hour backup for the Avatar rides, usually a thought from yes and no. I mean, you're not going to leave. Pardon me, my camera fell. You are not going to leave Disney because Avatar is busy. If you're on Disney property and you plan to Disney Day and you have tickets to Disney, you're not going to go to Universal. You're going to end up doing another Disney park. I mean, you're in that world. You're in that. Now, if you only have, say, 3 days at each park and you can totally switch around, yeah, you could think about that. But the reality is, if you do that, then fast passes you may have made, anything that you set aside, isn't going to do you any good. So you pay extra for shorter lines at Universal. Yes, yes. So the Express Pass, the price of the Express Pass varies based on when you go. So some days it's, I think, $80, and during Christmas, I think it's like another $130 on top of your ticket price. So yeah, you have to decide how much it's worth it, how bad the lines are, how much you really want to make sure you do stuff. Now, if you're an annual pass holder, and you're at the premium level of annual pass holder, you can Express Pass, skip the line once every ride after 4 p.m. So if you joined as an annual pass holder, you would end up being able to do that. And that's what I did when I went with my nephew, actually. They don't check the actual name on it. So there were so many rides I didn't want to go on to. I wanted him to experience the Despicable Me, didn't want him to have to wait in line. So I said, just, go in, be me for a minute. And he went and did my one fast pass. Shh, I know I've just put it in a public place, but that's okay. That is true. You are correct, Susan. Not everyone buys the tickets in advance, but they sell Express Pass the day of. So if you decide, now, and they only sell them to a certain number of them, and when they run out, they're out. So if you get there first thing in the morning and you go, oh dear God, these lines are insane, you could buy the Express Pass. Trick: do not buy the Express Pass outside the gate, or like right when you get through the security check, etc. Don't buy it there. Go into the park and into the first stores. And in the first stores, they will sell the Express Pass for you there. It's a much shorter line, and you don't have to wait for that crazy. Drew. Oh, I'm sorry, that was not Susan. That was Drew. So sorry, Drew. Yes, you are correct. So that's how you get through those. You get those. Waiting for Michelle to reread that. Yes, fine. You were referring to Disney? Which one were you referring to Disney? You're talking about non-pre-planners to punt to Universal. Which one? Are you talking about the buying tickets in advance? All right. So if you're buying tickets in advance for Universal, like I said, Express Pass, and you can buy the Express Pass day of. If you're talking about Disney, buying tickets day of, then those people have to go on the app and purchase their tickets and try to purchase their fast passes at that point. And it's kind of a catch as catch can, Now, for those of you who have been there before, if you've got the Disney app on your phone, you can just keep refreshing. And if you're a small enough group, there is often a chance that a single or two tickets for one of the items you really want to fast pass, like Avatar, Slinky Dog Dash, or maybe even the Star Wars stuff when that opens, that you can get in on a fast pass on those. You can use it up. For those of you who have worked with fast passes, and the people who are talking so far, I know do. I don't know about everybody else. Fast passes at the beginning, like I said, 60 days out on property, 30 days out if you're not on property, you can book a fast pass. And you pick 3 rides in one park on any given day that you want to skip the line. There will be tiers. For example, in Epcot, Frozen Ever After, Test Track, and Soarin', and I think Illuminations, premium seating. Those 4 things, you can get one of them as your main fast pass, and then you can get 2 of the other items that they offer for a fast pass. When all 3 of those items are used up, you can start booking more fast passes. No tier at MK. You are correct. There is no tier at MK. But as Drew was saying, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is going to be your Magic Kingdom, the high priority. That's the top one. Then you've got Big Thunder Mountain and Space Mountain. And for those who, if it's not cold out, Splash Mountain. All the mountains, all the roller coasters. Those are the ones that go first. Hollywood Studios, right now, it's going to be everything in Toy Story, and in a very short period of time, everything in Star Wars. Also, you will, it used to be that the top tier was Hollywood Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster and Toy Story Midway Mania and the Great Movie Ride. And then all of that switched around. Susan says, I got a fast pass for Peter Pan, even though it's not really worth it, but the line is the worst. Yes, the line is miserable. You don't want to do the line. However, if you can get extra or early magic hours for Peter Pan, it's nice to walk through it. I've done it first thing in the morning when it's like a 15-minute wait or a 20-minute wait. And there are little things you can play with, and Tinkerbell's floating around in the room, which is really lovely. Yeah, I mean, and that's not bad at all. Otherwise, yeah, if I want to go on it, I will fast pass it if there's a fast pass left. Because why? Just why? It is a classic. Yes, you're in one of the first dangling rides. But it's a standard dark ride, and there are other ones I like more. A negative fast pass, yes. It's like fast pass. Okay, fast pass minus. Gotcha. Okay. So tours. So at Disney, 180 days out, you can book any of the tours. VIP tours, the Animal Kingdom behind the stage tours, Magic Kingdom behind the scenes, Epcot behind the scenes. There was a Star Wars kind of themed one, but I don't know that they're probably going to change that out slowly. But Universal, they don't have any. None. You can get a VIP tour guide. I called once just for the heck of it to price it out. Now, it ain't cheap for Disney, for darn sure. But you can get these kind of group tours that lessen the price. I mean, even the tour that Drew and I did for the Wild Africa Trek, not Wild Africa Trek, for the VIP Nights of Adventure, where we skip the lines, which is really what the tours are about for Universal stuff. That was lovely. You got a little history, you skip the lines, but it was still around $200, maybe more. I got a discount because of using the Visa Chase card. One that is easily eligible for the pickup fast pass after. Actually, Peter Pan disappears very quickly, Drew. Peter Pan's line gets so long because the queue was never particularly well built that is a fast pass that goes away fast, literally. So it is one that if you do want to do it, yeah, you kind of want to either go in early or you need to get that fast pass in advance. Tours, back to tours. Universal, to get a guide for the 6 hours or 8 hours, it was, and I think you could have up to 8 or 10 people. I'd have to look it back up. It was like $4,000. I don't have that kind of money to pay for a tour guide. Now, granted, you wouldn't need to purchase Express Pass for that day because it's built in. But yeah, I couldn't do that. I just don't have the money for that. If a perfect world someone ever has that and wants to take me along, I'd be happy to go. Harry Potter is the obvious main draw for, yeah, but not sure if I feel personally drawn to the rest. Are the attractions investing or interesting like most of Disney? I'm not sure I'm explaining right. Okay, so Universal, the rides are more adult versions of everything. For example, you have Peter Pan as a dark ride, and you get to go through the story, and isn't it neat? They have Cat in the Hat in Seuss Land. It's a dark ride, and you go through the story of the Cat in the Hat, and most of it is just like the normal kind of going through a dark ride, except somewhere in the middle of it, it starts spinning as something goes awry within the story. For people who are motion sensitive like me, that was not pleasant the first time. When I get more prepared for it, I can brace myself, but I got a little queasy the first time I went on it. There's a Dumbo style ride, Redfish, Bluefish. I've not been on it yet. I want to get on that. But you have to listen to the caller within the directions, because it'll say like, oh, the red fishes, they go so low. And if you're a red fish and you don't go low, you're going to get sprayed with water. So you have to listen to what it's saying is go low, go high, what color you are, and that way you don't get wet. Yeah, so it's kind of amusing. But it's like a slightly rougher version. The roller coasters are very intense. Rip, Roar, and Rocket, literally you're laying on your back and you're going like this, and then you go down. And again, that's about the angle it goes down in its first drop. It's very intense. I won't even go on it. You can pick your rock and roll music, which I guess is nice. And it goes upside down. Hulk, shoots you out at 65 miles per hour right out of the gate. Mummy, corkscrews in the dark. So I have done Mummy once. I won't go on Hulk. I can tell by looking at the track. That would be the end of my day. Everything is rougher. And I will tell you, if you go to Universal, oh my God, you have to do the Raptor encounter. You must. If you like water rides, and you don't mind getting wet, or you have a poncho, absolutely do Popeye's Bilgewater Rats. You will get soaked, but it's so much fun. Or Dudley Do-Right's Flume. Dudley Do-Right is a flume ride, you know, like Splash Mountain, whatever. And if you've ever watched the old Dudley Do-Right cartoons, oh my God, saying all this stuff is a hoot. But it gives you like if this is the full height of the last drop, there are drops like this multiple times throughout, and then you go back up. So it's, again, for anyone with my sensitive style of stomach, you felt it more. It was definitely, it gave you a little more shakeup. And the last drop is not just a single drop, it's a double drop. So you get a double splash on you when you get soaked. It absolutely has the attention to detail. Susan was asking if it's more of an amusement park than a theme park, and I mean, Harry Potter World is incredibly immersive. Jurassic Park, they're building a new roller coaster there now, and everything is you're kind of walking through the land, and there are there's photo ops of, like, Tyrannosaurus Rex is coming out of Jeep, so you can, like, my favorite thing to do in front of those is pose at the camera going, like, well, I don't get it. It's something, what are you telling me? Yeah, because I'm silly. Drew, have you heard from any of your vloggers about Universal's tours? There are no tours. I haven't seen I mean, if you want to pay $4,000 and get a tour, you have your own personal tour guide for the day, but that's it. They don't offer any other tours. Backstory, backlot access, some Universal. They don't do backlot access. That's what I'm saying. They just don't do the same thing, because I was trying to look that up, and if you go to the site, not a tour in sight. The only thing they have is the VIP guide, and at that incredibly high rate, that's it. And if someone eventually watches this and thinks there's something different, let me know, but that is not my understanding of it at all. Okay, so what were we just talking about? So purchasing tickets. So when you're buying tickets, if you're staying on property at Disney, you can get them as part of a package. You don't necessarily get a discount, but you might get free dining, or you might get, stuff like that. Actually, before we go there, dining. So Disney has the dining plan. Universal has an express meal kind of pass. And what that does is it allows you to get, I believe it's like multiple there's a certain amount of unlimited food you can get from the quick service only. So none of the sit-down restaurants, none of the fancy stuff. And you can buy it the day of, and it's like, I don't know, it's like $35, $40 a person, and you get like unlimited, go up and get your beverage, and there are just unlimited beverage thingies too. So, I mean, they have kind of that last minute mentality of getting stuff, but walking through the different lands, going through the art, there's so much visually to see at Universal. Have I stayed at one of their properties? I have not stayed at their properties. I have friends who have. My friend Randy stayed at Cabana Bay, and I've seen pictures of the properties. I've had friends who've gone into the properties, and the rooms look really nice. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been there, so I haven't tried the bed sheets. I haven't tried that. But truth be told, the recent trip to Port Orleans is the first time I'd been back to a Disney property since 2002. So I'm kind of in that apples to apples world. But the video I've seen, the trips I've seen of these properties, they're stunning. The pools are big. If you're into water parks and you stay at Cabana Bay, you can get in, you can walk across the street to Volcano Bay and get in an hour before the rest of the world sees it, and get on half the rides before then. So yeah, I would like to try staying it there, and with my annual pass discount, I really probably should at some point. But I did the bounce back when I was at Disney, so I may keep my eye out to see if those rates get any better than the rates I've got booked, and then see where I want to go for this trip. As of right now, I'm probably going to do more Disney. My goal is to do the annual pass for this year for Disney, because I'll be going back. Value of annual passes. What a great segue. So the annual pass, and I don't have the prices in front of me, the annual pass for Universal, the premier, the top level, because I go during Christmas, so I have to do that top level, is like $540. It includes the better parking garage included, valet parking, included. You just have to tip the valet when they, get your car, bring your car back to you. It includes getting an express pass after 4 p.m. every day. As of right now, they have a little annual pass holders lounge where you still pay for drinks and they have free snacks like bags of chips and things. But you pay for your sodas, but it's air conditioned, comfy, cozy seats, and you can chill out and relax if it's too hot or too crazy outside. It includes 10 or 20% discounts off of all of the restaurants. Most of the stuff in City Walk, not all of it, discounts. As long as you show me you're an annual pass holder, you get a percentage off. For I believe both food and alcohol. I believe it's both, and their site will tell you all the details on that. If you go to the park, 2 separate trips of 2 to 3 days each, even with the discounted tickets that I can get at Undercover Tourist, and you plan on parking, your annual pass is paid for itself at Universal. 5 days. Not consecutive, but like, I'm going to do 3 days here, I'm going to do 2 days there, so you could blend it in with a Disney trip. At 5 days, you have paid for that. You just have. And you can get, they have little pass holder magnets that they give and they have buttons, I think, if you first come, first serve every month that you can get. And there's a Facebook group that you can follow for them and stuff like that. So, there's definitely benefits. There's definitely good parts of that. Disney has their annual pass, and I don't have it yet. I'm working toward getting that. But the Disney annual pass is, I'm going to have to look it up. It's close to $1,000. For Disney, if you do 2 trips, you're looking at, you need to do about 9 days in 2 trips for it to pay for itself. And that's, again, including the parking. Now, I will add as a caveat to that, you might drop some of that back down, because if you're going more than once, especially, PhotoPass is included. And that's $170. And only one person has to get the annual pass. Again, food discounts through a number of the restaurants, both at Disney Springs and within the parks. As a caveat, when you're at Universal, if you want to use your annual pass holder discount for butterbeer, you have to go into the restaurants. You cannot do it at the little stands in the middle of the roads, just so you know. But if you go up to any of the ones that are kind of against a wall that are kind of plugged in, that they can do it. Back to Disney. So you've got a number of benefits for doing that. You get, and both of them will give you, Universal gives you 1 free night of Hollywood Horror Nights. If you want to do their horror night thing, you get 1 free entry to that. So if you plan on going to Disney for, like I said, at least 9 days over 2 trips, yeah, you're going to, and especially if you park, you're going to end up paying for it. I believe it's 10 or 15% off of stuff you buy in the stores. Now, my Disney Visa gift credit card also gives me a similar discount. I think you can only get 1 of them. And the Disney Visa credit card also gets you 10% off of a number of the tours. Up until this last year, I'd always rented, because when I stayed at the timeshare, and you're talking about multiple people, you put them in the car, and it was easier. And I paid for the car and parking. If I become an annual pass holder, I'm just paying for the car, not paying for parking. But you are taking that responsibility on, you may not want to drink as much, etc. This last trip, because it was 8 days, and we spent 4 days, equivalent of about 4 full days on property before we had to go somewhere else. We did actually not rent a car and did Uber and Lyft, a combination. And we did do the minivan once or twice while we were on property as well. It ended up being relatively cost effective. My timeshare to Universal, to the Hard Rock Hotel, was like less than $10. I mean, when you tip on top of that. For Disney. Now, I don't know that they charge for parking at Universal. That's something that I would have to find out. That I do not know. But they do. I haven't had to stay at one of them. If you're planning on only going to one resort or the other, or you're only going to do a day at the other resort, yeah, I can especially if you're doing Disney, I wouldn't rent a car. I would just Uber the one trip and back. You're in the middle of such a busy touristy area that they're there, you know, within 5 minutes, and there's like 30 other people waiting with you. So it's not like it's a questionable. And more cost effective. Yeah, exactly. And now, for someone who does Lyft or Uber more frequently, if you have like four people, say, do they charge more for your trip? I know, you know, with just the 2 people, it wasn't a problem, but I'm curious about that. So as someone who is more experienced with Uber or Lyft, if they can throw that out there, that would be cool. Yeah, exactly. The Uber and Lyft is like 10 minutes, you're there. And the minivan, you know, they play whatever Disney music you want to hear. They can answer questions. And they're very pleasant. But that is, you know, almost 3 times the cost that you would pay for an Uber from point A to point B. But they are vetted, as Drew can attest to. Vetting makes a difference. Okay, arriving at the parks. If you don't want to rent the car and you're staying on property, Disney has the Magical Express. So when you're making your reservations for the hotel, you can let them know when you're doing your pre-check-in, this is my flight information. And when you land, they'll send you tags that you can add on your luggage. You wrap it around your luggage before you check it in with, for us, Southwest or whatever airline you go with. Give it to the airline, and whatever carry-ons you take with you. When you get off the plane, you do not go to baggage claim unless it's really late at night. You just walk over to the Magical Express. And your tags say which resort you're at, so it just takes you where you want to go. It takes you to your hotel. You check in and you relax on the bus. You see movies about Disney and stuff that's going on, and poof, you're there at your hotel. And then you can get off the bus. You can check in, do an initial check-in with them. We left our carry-ons with them, but we didn't have our regular luggage. We went off into the parks. And then about 2-3 hours later, we got a text saying, you know, on multiple devices, hey, your room's ready. Here's your room number. So at that point, if we didn't have to pick up the stuff, the checked stuff we had at the front desk, we could have just gone to our room and never been back to the front desk until the end of the trip. Universal allows you to book the super shuttle. Yeah, they do not have the infrastructure and set up. Yeah, Magical Express is quite lovely. No front place. Oh dear. Yeah. Drew can tell you his experience. Maybe when I get stuff on cars. Yeah. Having a driver's license with you is a little bit more important when you're getting in a car with somebody you don't know. That being said, so Universal has they'll help you by helping you book your personal rental car, your personal shuttle pickup, or the super shuttle, but it is not the same kind of thing as Disney-owned transportation does the Magical Express. And I will say Disney, yeah, absolutely, kind of hands down on that. Express Pass hotel tickets. So yes, tickets. Universal used to be infinitely more affordable. I mean, it was like for 2 days, it was like $150. It is now 2 days and maybe a free third day. They don't officially put in there for like $250 or something. It's a lot more expensive. I recommend, if you are not staying on property, to buy your tickets. A, you want to do it in advance. B, if you can do it for the year before February, before the prices normally hike, do that. Mid-February is often when they go up. Now, that may change this year because of the whole Star Wars stuff and the way they've changed their pricing setup. And I'm not fond with the way Disney has changed its pricing with the tickets. But Undercover Tourist or AAA can get you a discount on some of those tickets. AAA doesn't really have much, if any, discount on Universal, but they usually can get some kind of a discount on Disney. Undercover Tourist can do a discount on both. It's worth looking at both companies because a 4-day plus 1 free day might be better at Universal, but a 3-day plus 1 free day or a regular 4-day may be better at Disney, depending. Undercover's AAA versus Undercover Tourist. And it's undercovertourist.com. And then I recommend instead of purchasing them online at the AAA store, go into your local AAA if you are a member. The pricing is generally better. Minivans will know the difference, but yeah, okay. You were, oh, there's not really two Polynesians, but oh, we've got an Aggie sighting. Hi, Aggie. The problem with Uber and the Uber app we've been discovering is the Uber app thinks it has the right addresses for stuff. Thinks it has the right addresses. There have been a number of issues, even for us, where we said we're going to this building, and that's what we plugged in, and we chose that, and we started going there, and it took you somewhere slightly differently than it was, like near but not quite, or a slightly different address. It was a little frustrating, but that happened to us as well, and we corrected the guy. Once we explained where we were going, he went, "Oh yeah, you want this." So we shall see how that all handles out. What questions do you guys have for me? And I still don't, I see Drew and Susan. I have no idea who else is watching. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope I'm being informative and accurate and helpful. But please just jump in and say hi, because again, right now it's 5 of us. So why not be intimate and happy? But yeah, I mean, those are the main differences. So I want to make sure I've covered everything you're looking for. Oh, hi, Dave. The AAA price when you planned your last Universal trip, we got cheaper directly. Yeah, see. Now, if you do things like, oh, I don't know, leave your tickets at home and you have to buy them the day of, I do recommend that you purchase them online before you leave for Universal. Online for Universal and in advance for Universal. You did it, not me. Did you find them ever? But Universal is infinitely, gives you like 13, 14 bucks off if you buy them in advance, even the day of. And then it puts you on your phone and you can get your phone scanned, etc. Whereas Disney, it's hard to get discounts for them. Undercover Tourist is the one place I know, and they really can't do day of. AAA, if there's a local AAA in Florida, could be a day of. Oh, gift cards. Here's another one. You can go online to the Universal website, and how far long is a ride from Disney Resort to Universal? Better to stay in one spot and run around. Oh, I see, and change resorts. Well, here's the thing. If it's cost effective, one place over the other, stay with whichever one's cost effective. Let me check if I don't know that I have history of my Ubers on here actually, and I don't think I do. Drew, for what you remember, we never actually went directly from Disney to Universal. Now, as I mentioned on my vlogs, you don't want to go to, when you do your Uber or Lyft to Universal, do not go to Universal Studios parking garage, regular drop-off entrance. You want to go to Hard Rock Hotel if you're walking, or I believe, you might be able to go on the other side to the Portofino. I think that's the one that's the closest. But Hard Rock I know works. They drop you off at the front of the Hard Rock. You walk in, you walk downstairs, you walk out the back, and then it's this green, peaceful, beautiful, relaxing walking path that takes you all the way to Universal Studios. It is a, why are you doing this, people? There we go. The security check there, instead of this huge, massive security check for the world, we had 2 people in front of us and then walked right into Universal Studios. We were right there. You can also, if you don't want to walk it, there's a boat from the hotel over, and hi, Mouse. And there's also a, these guys on like rickshaw bicycles that they can't officially charge, but you give them what you feel is appropriate. And I think we gave him like 10 bucks just to ride us up and back. But 2 of us sitting in a little rickshaw, and he paddled, rode away up the hill and all, and took us over there, within like 3-4 minutes. It was fabulous. You cannot use the minivans. Yes, minivans have to stay on Disney property. They can't go anywhere that is not Disney property, which kind of sucked because it was not clear with some of the stuff they did with us. I was a little annoyed by that, especially because the Lyft app will tell you, sure, pick the minivan for this. If you are going off property, they will not take you. Disney Springs is okay because that's still Disney property. If you've gone off Disney property, they don't go. I was just talking about, it wasn't tickets. It was a different, oh, Dak Nabbit. What was I talking about before I jumped on the question that you had asked? Oh, and yeah, the ride was probably about $14 before tip, I think. No, before the Rock and Roll Hotel and before we started talking about if you want to Uber and trip between them. There was a whole new topic, and I didn't write that one down. It was something I wanted to compare between Disney and Universal for you guys in planning, and I don't remember what it is. Well, do you have and I am sorry that that AAA screwed you, Dave. That sucks. Yeah, AAA, I will only get tickets, and it's after I've looked at Undercover Tourist and I've called my AAA office and physically bought it. But I would not use them as my travel agent. If anyone is looking to go to Disney, and I think she does Universal too, I have a travel agent I can recommend who was very helpful to us. She's not Fair Family, but she's Fair Friends Family, if that makes sense. Family of Fair Family. Friend of family. She's good people. And like I said, the one thing that they will do sometimes is keep their eye out for the specials and the sales. What do you want to do at Universal before I tell you 1 day or 2 days? I can tell you that because I can't ride a lot of the rides, I can absolutely do it in 1.5 days. But you also can use that as part of your downtime. And then if you're not including City Walk with your shops, and there are clubs and things, there's a really nice movie theater there. There's mini golf, which I've not done yet and looked really fun. So there are other activities. Susan, depends on the crowds and the lines, right? Yeah, you have to do park to park pass. Don't bother doing Universal unless you do the park to park pass, especially if you want Harry Potter, because that means you can't take the train across, and that would suck. The train is one of my favorite things. You want to make sure, if you've never done it before, I would say 2 days. If you've never done it, because there will be some lines, and there are going to be some experiences that you haven't done, or that you want to get spend more time learning about. But I would say 2. They, Undercover Tourist does offer a buy 2 days, get a third day free. Sometimes depends on what the parks are offering, and I would absolutely recommend checking that out, doing that, because then you've got options. Even if you just do the 2 days, you haven't paid for the third day, but you have that as leeway. 1 day. Oh, here's another thing: Universal and Disney park hours. If you go to Disney's website or your app right now and you look at Disney's park hours and you make your plans based on those park hours 4 months from now, I guarantee you some of those park hours are going to change when you get there. I remember, I planned my one trip, and we were like, oh, Magic Kingdom's open till midnight every night during Christmas. Oh, sometimes it's open till 1 a.m. Oh my God, and then I went and looked at the park hours the next year right before the trip, and it's like 2 months out, and it's like, they're closing at 10 o'clock every night. I'm like, what? No, wait, what? 2.5 weeks before the actual holiday, we're open till midnight every night, and sometimes till 1 o'clock. So Disney waits and adjusts their hours based on what they expect their capacity to be, what's happening last minute. And they don't, like I said, 2 weeks out, sometimes day of, not as much. I mean, you usually get some leeway, but it's a little frustrating. Universal puts park hours down. You're done. That's it. I've never seen them change the park hours. What is there is there. So in that sense, Susan, they are pretty much the traditional amusement park. Now, the parks will close anywhere from the water park 6 p.m., but you generally anywhere from 7 to midnight, depending on when it is. During Christmas week, I know it's usually around 10 p.m. And sometime 10 at tops 11. New Year's Eve is like their midnight night kind of thing. But generally they are not open the kind of crazy hours that Disney is. Okay. So reasons to stay on Universal property. If you stay on Universal property, you can get in the parks an hour before everybody else, which means you can get through a lot more rides more quickly. If you are an annual pass holder, you can get in to the park, but only the person with the pass can get, in and go through like some of the Harry Potter rides before the park opens at 1 hour before. Oh, excuse me. Let me get a little water here. For still don't know who our fourth person is. I mean, fifth person. So Drew says, if you have extended hours to Epcot, take them and plan on a minivan. Drink around the world. Yes, I said that. Do not drive after. Yeah. And you know, I've drunk around the world more than once, and I've done it and still been able to drive. There are tricks to, I believe in eating and drinking around the world. Some, you know, and if they're large drinks, share them. One drink with 3 people can still be doing. Yes, we drank and we drunk. That being said, so yeah, and Epcot is, I mean, I love just talking to the people in Epcot. They make me happy. You know, the people from the different countries, always nice. Do people have other questions about Universal Disney type planning? Haven't done drink around the world, don't want to do it solo, and mom gave the stink eye. Oh, really? Even for one drink? Oh, no, you need to go with somebody who's going to let you do that. If you start when they start at 11 o'clock, when the World Trade Kids opens, you can get a drink. I mean, honestly, you know, Drew can attest to, we will sit down at tables and share tables with people and make friends with strangers. You know, you don't want to get absolutely blottoed. I would not recommend getting blottoed. Even when I drank around the world, I have gone with people, not Drew, that we got to the last country, and this is where you get in trouble. And Drew is guilty of this. You get to a country and you say, Italy, I want to get a glass of wine. Or you say, I want to get that brandy and that liqueur and this too. And when you start ordering multiple drinks at a country, you're going to have a problem. 1 drink per country. Now, I never said the drink has to be alcoholic. Just drink around the world. You can get eggnog without stuff in it. You can get alcoholic beverages, but I consider, like the Outpost, although I've been told they have a very good drink at the Outpost. I never counted that as a country before. But if you get to especially if you're going in summer, if you get to a country and you're like, you know what, I can't manage this. Water is a drink. You can drink water in that country. If they have a fruit juice that is a local blend or a style that's something, get that. You're still drinking something that's native to the country. When I first had to go, one of the times I went to Canada, they stopped serving the Toronto Paladin, which was one of my favorites, which is a Cosmo with Toronto-based vodka, I guess. And they stopped serving that, so all they had was beer. I can't drink beer because of gluten issues, amongst other things. So yeah, all the frozen spike drinks. Yeah, and I've heard they've got a number of frozen spike drinks that are yummy. That is true. Epcot, you can get a flight in a country, but those are shorter drinks. She's talking about being concerned about getting too drunk and not being able to be when she's by herself. So if you're concerned, 1 drink per country. A flight is 1 drink. You ordered a singular beverage. You don't say, I would like 2 ounces of this, 2 ounces of this, and 2 ounces of this. You say, I would like the red flight. I would like the white flight. I would like the rosé flight. And the wines are going to be lower alcohol than the limoncello and the grappa and aquavit, which is vodka, by the way. It's Norwegian vodka, and it burns like a son of a gun, and I don't recommend it. Okay. Now that we've gotten off into long alcohol conversations, anybody else? I know we've got David, Susan, and Drew, and me. There's somebody else watching. No idea who you are. You're welcome to say hi and ask a question. Otherwise, does anyone else have any questions? Because we're just about at an hour, and I think I've gone over most of the stuff. I know I'm going to go back and watch that one little section at some point and go, that's what I wanted to talk about, because I never finished whatever that item was, which makes me sad. What is your favorite restaurant on either property? Well, I love Victoria and Albert's, but that's really expensive. That's a specialty event. It varies from year to year. I would rather say give you my favorite in each park and then one at the resorts. So my favorite in Animal Kingdom. It's actually probably Tusker House, because that piri piri salmon was unbelievable. I love Tiffin's. I really enjoyed Satuli Canteen, but Tusker House was yummy, and you do get to meet characters. You get to meet the Fab Four. To avoid the crowd, okay. Make sure I get back to you, Dave, on that. Epcot, my favorite restaurant. I'm trying to decide. No. It again varies from year to year. It has been Le Cellier. It has been Monsieur Paul. I think it's Monsieur Paul, and everyone keeps pronouncing it Monsieur, and that makes me nuts. And I do, because it's Monsieur. Someone tell me if it's Monsieur or Monsieur. Monsieur. It just, I don't know. Oh. Okay, yeah, the food festival, you don't need to. So sit-down restaurants. Okay, so if you've never done the restaurants, the Mexican place, not in the pavilion, but out on the water, great place to get really good Mexican food. Don't eat tons beforehand. I've screwed myself multiple times by eating, snacking and snacking and snacking, and then getting there and not really being able to enjoy the meal. But if you get there and you ask for a fireworks view, and then get, like an hour before the fireworks is supposed to happen, that's when you order your reservation table and wait for the fireworks view. They pipe the music in, and you have an incredible view of illuminations, at least for the rest of this year. Who knows what it'll be after this, but it's a really gorgeous view. So I would say, yeah, I really love that restaurant. Yeah. For Hollywood Brown Derby. Hollywood Brown Derby is my favorite over in Hollywood Studios. Magic Kingdom, Jungle Skipper Canteen. Those I know. And then I want to go to Sanaa. I haven't been there yet, so I can't say anything about that. But my favorite sit down outside. I'm waffling. No, Flying Fish. I think it's still Flying Fish. I love California Grill because, again, fireworks view and the music and all that, and that's lovely. All right, so Dave, best time of year to avoid the crowds. To avoid the crowds, you want to go right now, like ending right about now, from like mid-January to before President's Day weekend, avoiding Martin Luther King weekend. And during the week, if you can do it, is going to be the best. And for both, like Universal empties out after Christmas. I've seen some of my vloggers showing people walking in, and there's like nobody, just nobody. Even like Hollywood Studios, nobody. September, right when all the kids have to go back to school, starts to clear out because all the vacationers can't vacation anymore. So that's another good time to go. And I was told after spring break, but before the end of May, because the end of May is when the kids down there get let out of school. So it starts getting really crowded. Like the first few days of June, you can still do it. Those are going to be your best times to avoid crowds. It's also going to be some of your better times to avoid heat. Now, it will get chilly down there. Like around this time of year, they were getting 40s. They did actually break freezing. So, it depends. Yeah, Tusker House was really yummy, and I did the lunch there. High tea was lovely, but the experience at the Mexican place was wonderful. Not in the yeah, exactly. It's the Hacienda de San Angel versus the San Angel Inn. The San Angel Inn, San Angel Inn, is inside the pavilion. Outside the pavilion is the one you want, and it's really yummy. After Labor Day was great, but the heat and the hurricanes happen. Exactly, and that's the thing with September. You are in hurricane season, so you do have to get travel insurance, as Susan can attest to. Travel insurance is incredibly important during hurricane season, because that pretty much saved her from being incredibly, incredibly poor, because she was stuck for how many more days? 3 more days? Oh, darn. So, any other questions that you guys have for me about the parks in general, or about planning between Universal versus Disney? 12 instead of 9, so 3 more days. On the planning front, pack 2 sets of clothing with several layers. Do bring sunscreen and a sweatshirt, if not a heavy coat. Well, that's winter. When you're talking winter, yeah, you want to come down in a coat that is not for the sub-freezing temperature, but is not for your your warm weather, something that like if you got home and it hit 0, you're freezing, the 32 degrees, you would be warm enough in, because you may end up needing something like that down there. The jacket I had wasn't quite, one jacket wasn't warm enough, the other wasn't cool enough, if that makes sense. So I ended up buying a lovely jacket with very lightly, subtly embroidered Mickey heads in there, which was fun. 3 to 4 layers the week after Thanksgiving, and we were still chilled. Yeah. I always wear either a tank top or a t-shirt with a long sleeve shirt over it. I bring a scarf. I have a hat for every outfit, because it's another way to keep heat in. And then I bring a light jacket, and I will have a warmer jacket available. Whatever the cool temperature is where I am at home, bring something comparable to that, so that you have that leeway. Wind chill was a factor. You don't get the wind in the summer. That is true. That is true. You get a lot of wind, a lot of layers. I dressed for Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, Drew definitely dressed a little too cold for the weather. He was not a happy camper. Okay. Dave, any other questions other than good times to go to the park? Or because I think you've been to both. You've been to Universal, obviously, and I'm sorry that they hurt you with those numbers. Yeah, I kind of piecemeal everything myself, again, because I have the timeshare. And the annual pass definitely can help in terms of room rates. It's not perfect. The annual pass discounts for Universal, they will only really offer them when it's not high season for them. So like when I went to try to book around Christmas and see what they had, I didn't really get any discounts. But you can boat or bus from your resort to City Walk and to the parks. It's not as big, it's not as expansive, but it does appear. Others on the live stream we haven't heard from. 3 cared to wave. Well, actually there are 5 people, and that's Susan, Dave, you, and me. So because I get counted in that number, I found out. So there is one person who's been watching us for quite a while and has not said a thing. I'm very sad. I want to know you. I want to know who you are. But please feel free to like this. Oh wait, we got a 6th person. Where did that happen? Hi, new person. I don't know who you are. Say hi. We have been talking for about an hour on the Universal versus Disney. If you have any specific questions about Universal versus Disney, comparisons, or something that you're dying to get my feedback on, please throw it in here. We can let you guys know. And Drew, I'm assuming I am officially allowed to confirm this now. Give me one sec, Dave. That Sunday morning-ish, like somewhere between 11:30 and noon, we will set a time. We're going to officially do a Drew and Michelle recap on our trip live stream, which means I will get day 7 up, and there will be 1 day left for us to place online. So you guys get to see the rest of the trip if you haven't already watched it. Oh, we lost people already. January 1st is the end date for the Christmas programming, the Haunted Mansion. What is your... okay. Haunted Mansion in Disneyland is from Halloween through probably about a week or 2 after Christmas. Disney World, they do not do that changeover to the Nightmare Before Christmas. The reasoning that I've been given, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is Disneyland is like your local park, your local amusement park. So that's why instead of having meet and greets behind walls, and the characters are sometimes just roaming the streets. The major characters are sometimes just roaming the streets, and you can just go up and say hi or jump in the line. Whereas Walt Disney World, here, go into this building and stand in this 20-minute line or get a fast pass for these characters. It's very different. Walt Disney World is sort of this year-round experience, whereas Disneyland is a locals park that a lot of people come to. Because of that, you will see bigger and better overlays, holiday overlays, themed overlays in Disneyland, because they want to keep their locals coming back. Versus Disney World, year-round, they've got tourist seasons that change, etc. So it's not the same ball of wax. My favorite Universal restaurant, including City Walk, Cowfish. Cowfish is my favorite. It is a limited menu for me, but I really like it. I used to love Toothsome. They were not very good the last 2 times I was there. And I used to really love Mythos. And inside the parks, that's probably the one I'll go to first. Although I will tell you, if you're going to Mythos, if you make a reservation there, bring a coat. I don't know what the hell they do, but that thing is air conditioned within an inch of its life. I have gone in there swelteringly hot, and by the end of it, I'm adding all my layers on because I'm freezing. Just word to the wise. It is absolutely freezing in Mythos, but the food is good. I think it's trying to hold on to some laurels it hasn't had in a while, but it is good. For a quick kind of bar wing kind of thing, Confisco's been kind of nice for us. But yeah, I'd say Cowfish is my absolute favorite. If I was in a better frame of mind, I probably would have liked Vivo more than I did, but it was okay. And I absolutely hated Antojitos. And it might just have been what I ordered, but boy, I did not like them. Drew, I reloaded and still show 5. I might be the 6. Yeah, it could be. Yes, man. Christmas stuff was new to me and was really enjoyable. I get the appeal now. Yeah, the Christmas stuff is really beautiful. Granted, it's like all I get to see now. Oh, if you really like Christmas and you're going to go back around the holiday time, there is a tour that is all about the decorations. I highly recommend it. It takes you into Epcot and to Magic Kingdom, talks about the history of the decorations, shows you where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's story came from, which was kind of cool. And then you get to go to the building where the team that designs the decorations all year round, where they work. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. Christmas. Okay. Disney World has a special holiday offerings like the Jingle Cruise. Yes. Disney World does that, but they do the Jingle Cruise over in Disneyland, and it is much more highly themed and much more detailed. So anything that you get Christmassy themed floated on at Disney World gets more so at Disneyland. That's all. Now, this year for Halloween, they did a couple themed things for the parties only at Disney World. So the teacups got specialty lights during the Halloween horror. Keep calling it Halloween Horror Nights. It's not so scary Halloween party. They added special lights to the teacups ride, and I think special music. And Space Mountain, pitch black, no lights whatsoever. You were riding that roller coaster in absolute darkness. Can't say that I'd want to have done that. Yeah, Cowfish is kind of amazing. Any plans to go to the international parks? When I become incredibly wealthy, sure. I would love to see Disneyland Paris. Now, granted, the Ratatouille ride, which is the biggest thing I wanted to see there, is coming here, so I'm not worried about that. I would love to. Everyone I've listened to said Tokyo Disney is one of the most amazing of all of them, and I would love to see that. I would love to see Shanghai, although again, Tron being the big exciting thing that's out there is coming here as well. I actually, one of my next door neighbors or down my street neighbors from when I was a child used to work at Disney Sea in Tokyo, and I need to sit her down and get stories from her because obviously things have changed, but she was a performer in one of the music shows there, singing and dancing, which is very cool. So right now, no plans. Part of how I'm able to do this is because I've got the timeshare down there, which limits how much I have to pay for housing. And I, bring different people and we go to those. So it's a little more cost effective for me. But yeah, I mean, if I win the lottery, oh my God, yeah, I want to go to all of them. I would love to see them all. I do. You will laugh at me. I will. Hold on a second. So go away, Ringer. Go away, Ringer. I don't need you. Go away. So why is this? Hold on. Oh, that's why it's doing it. Ha! Ignore me. Okay. So this is my Orlando. Let me get up here. This is my God, the lighting is crappy. Let me see if I can do something about this. This is my Orlando screen on my iPhone. So you have Disney, and then WDW Disney, and then DSNY Disney, and then you've got the Play Disney app. How do we do this? Good Lord. Okay. Oh, it went dark. Sorry. The Play Disney app, and Disneyland, and Paris Disney, and then Hong Kong Disney, and then Shopping the Parks and Undercover Tourist, and then Universal, and then Tokyo. I think that's Tokyo Disney. I have all of the Disney park apps that exist. So when I feel particularly mopey and sad, it'll be 3 a.m. I can't sleep. I'll open up the one and go, oh, what's the ride time for this ride over in Disney? It's entertainment. It's a living. What do we got here? So any other questions? We're back up to 6 people, so I still don't know who everybody is, but I hope you're having fun watching. Any other questions? Oh, go away. Any other questions for me about the parks or things? If there is a topic also that you guys want to talk about next time, like I said, Sunday is going to be our trip recap so that you guys can hear from both of us kind of talking together about, you know, any thoughts and follow-up and feelings from the trips as this keeps spinning. But if there is another topic you want me to cover, I know Drew had talked about potentially doing entertainment and things that are not park-based, but resort-based in general. It runs the Disney Resort's default screen with the instrument. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's just hearing the music. Now, one of the vloggers I watched recently had just come back and was listening to the music, and he said that that Disney music thing, that's changed. Whatever is they used to play on there, they're now playing something different, and he stopped and got very flustered by it because it wasn't exactly what he had been used to. Sorry about that. I just hit the mic there. I'm trying to get that louder. So it's been about an hour and 15. I'll probably go for another 4 or 5 minutes. If you have any last questions, get them all in here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the default music. Yeah. And actually the first thing I did when I walked into the room, I was like, oh, wait, it's not officially a trip yet. And I turned on the music, which was lovely. So any last questions, any last thoughts, any feedback, any whatever you want to know, Disney-ish, or like I said, if there's a topic you want to throw at me, like I said, Sunday will be catch up live chat. And then I may do live vlogs, or I may do pre-recorded stuff. But and then you need to let me know if you prefer the pre-recorded or if you want to do the live. Where is my next trip? Ironically, Disney World. I have a meeting in Tampa later this year, and when the meeting is over, I will be taking a few days to go to Disney World and to kind of chill and relax. So I've already got space booked at Port Orleans, French Quarter again. I have been given an offer to crash at a friend's house, and I may take her up on that. But I kind of like the idea of being able to plan in advance and do stuff in advance. So we'll see how I feel as I get closer. Financially, I may say I have to switch it out. And if I do, that would be a godsend to have a place to crash. Then I'm really only looking at renting a car, because at that point, if I do the annual passes that I am expecting to do, all of that other stuff is kind of, the parking and all that is all taken care of. Oh, and if you have not been, I highly recommend going to Trader Sam's Tiki Bar, and make sure you get an unusual drink, because fun things happen. And I did not get to go this last time, but I recommend that you sit there's like these longish tables with bar stools, and if there is room there, just sit at one of those. The Tiki Bar, yeah, I like Trader Sam's. Now, they also have Trader Sam's out at the other coast. I have not done a flaming drink. I suppose if the flaming drinks are there, they're actually burning all the alcohol out of it, which seems to kind of not make a good point there. Oh, hey, Kelly. Yes, flaming drinks are fun. Surfboard bar. Is that what they call that? I thought it was a regular bar, but it may be a surfboard. But I highly recommend that. So I'm actually getting close to closing up for this conversation. So Kelly, Susan, Drew, David, any of you have questions, let me know in the next 2 minutes. I can try to answer those. Yeah, I don't remember any of them on fire. Oh no, wait, there's is it the Krakatoa? One of them, I think the outer rim they set on fire, not the actual alcoholic beverage. So you still get a little bit of fun out of that. The Tiki Bar for Disney Springs. Yes, the Lava Lounge. Rainforest Cafe has a Tiki Bar called the Lava Lounge, which Drew and I did not go to, and I feel bad because that was originally on our plan, as was the Balloon, which I'm gonna make happen. I need to go do that. I think the footage would be amazing, if nothing else. I also highly recommend. So I was surprised the Edison for drinks and cool, funky atmosphere. We did not have food there. Wine Bar George is where we ate, and I really did like their charcuterie platter and the wilted Caesar salad they had. It was really yummy. I don't know that I have a favorite restaurant at Disney Springs. There's so many I haven't gone to yet. But I really enjoy yeah, I know I have to do the balloon. I really enjoyed I enjoyed all the places we went to there. I like going to the Coca-Cola store and getting Beverly's Revenge. For those of you, by a show of yeses or whatever, how many of you actually like Beverly? How many of you know what I mean when I say Beverly? Homecoming is actually one of the reservations I have made for this upcoming trip because I have not been there yet. I get nervous when I hear down home cooking because of the gluten-free issue. That, okay, what are they going to actually feed me? Because it's all flour and fat and stuff like that normally. So I figure, you know, Art Smith could put, yes, Beverly is amazing. No to Beverly, Susan. Okay, so Beverly's Revenge is gin and Beverly and Salerno blood orange vodka and I think some raspberry something. And it's actually tasty. You might taste more gin than you do the Beverly. Beverly is a digestif. So it's made to make your intestinal system in your belly feel better. But, you know, it's a non-alcoholic digestif for aperitif. Yeah, I'm not a big gin fan, but it was not bad. It was Hendrick's gin, which is one of the really high quality gins, at least. But they have other drinks there. They actually did a minted Diet Coke, which was quite yummy that Drew had. Don't like gin either. Yeah, exactly. But they have the top level of the Coca-Cola store has a bar with all kinds of mixed drinks that include different Coke products amongst them. So, I mean, they probably had a rum and Coke, but I didn't even look to see. We were looking for things that were more unusual. Okay, guys. So we are at 1:21. If you have questions, this is your last chance. If not, I'm going to say goodbye for the live stream. Please feel free, like I said, to I'll put up another thing about next time we do another live stream and get feedback from people on what you do or do not want to learn about next. I wasn't impressed with the Diet Coke mint beverage. It was like Diet Coke and a salad. Oh, I liked the taste of it I had, and I'm not a Diet Coke person. Yes, I will see you on Sunday, Mr. Drew, for our live experience. If there are particular questions you would like Drew and I to answer about our trip, let us know. What do we got here? Oh, you're very welcome, Susan. Yes, so I'm hoping to kind of keep doing these. You know, let me know when I post back on the other side if there's a time that's good for you guys that's better. If there is a whatchamacallit, get away. If there's a day that's better, I can do Wednesdays, Saturday days. Well, from what you and I had talked about, Drew, you were talking about the topic. We were going to do a recap on our past trip, feedback, thoughts, things you want to do again, things you don't want to ever do again, things you learned. And I know we'll at least have one other person watching the live stream that will be able to will be able to talk and wants to talk to you and find out all that. Yeah. So we got lots of good stuff coming. I know we had Drew had mentioned another topic, not for this one or for the next one, but things to do on the resorts, not the parks. So like things I've done or things I can recommend that are special, fun things to do when you're not sitting in the parks. Other places to plan and things to go. We got a mouse walking in here. Yeah, we're getting toward the end of this one. So hope you guys had fun. I had a good time, and I hope I was not too rambly and I answered your questions and helped you out. And I will see you guys next time, okay? Wait. Julie wishes to know when you're traveling with Drew again. I think she needs to add me as a friend or something. I think that yeah. That's on you, doll. So we will do the like I said, we'll do the Drew conversation on the next one. I'm traveling in June, and I still have the 2-bedroom room from June 12th to June 16th. That's on you. But thank you guys. Ciao, ciao. I will see you all next time. All right. Have a great one. Bye. End stream.